So, for today's podcast, we're going to have the pleasure of having a conversation with Melanie Atwood. So, first of all, Melanie, welcome.
Thank you
Happy
so
to have you
much.
here. So, you are our new Chief Development Officer for EVSC, and part of that role will include serving as president of the EVSC Foundation. So, yeah, first of all, this is exciting to have you here today.
It's exciting to be here. Thank you so much.
So, why don't we just start with this? You and I are just going to talk a little bit because we want people to get familiar with you. Although I know you have so many experiences in our community. I know a lot of people listening to this podcast are going to say, I've known Melanie for a long time. But tell us a little bit about your background.
Well, let's see. I came over here to go to University of Evansville, and I
Okay.
ended up staying because I love the community and love the
Right.
people.
Came from
Um,
Illinois, I think
Came
you
from
told me.
Illinois,
Yeah.
yeah, small little burg in Illinois, and so I've been in for profit for a bit, and always my family grew up doing some volunteer work and the importance of helping nonprofits, and so I thank my family for doing that. And then about mid-career, after I sold computers, got my bachelor's from U of E in computer science, and sold for Apple and Honeywell. Then I jumped into just some more financial client management. Did training and supervisor of quality control departments at Fifth Third, FTPS actually. And I'm like, you know what? I love nonprofit work. I love helping bring a voice for a variety of people that either elevate the voice or help those that don't know they have one find a spot for that. Love helping people, and so got into head first into nonprofit work. Youth First is an amazing organization for students and families in
And
our
a great
community.
partner to EVSC and has been for a long time.
Yeah, and that's really good, and they could even do more. So I'll do a little plug there for you
Okay.
first, and so because Dr. Bill Wooten and under the leadership of Perry Black, they have grown their team. It is an amazing team, an amazing mission, and so more of that, more continued work with them, and then I knew Randy and Ann Moore, and when Ann was diagnosed with cancer. Um, the board had been working for a bit, raising some money, and one of the board members reached out and said, "Hey, Melanie, we're looking for our first executive director. We're ready to hire the first staff person. We'd like to talk to you." Long story short, that worked really well. I have a passion for helping people, helped to continue Ann and Randy's vision, and we brought Gilda's Club, Evansville. To our community. And so it took a little bit to get it up and going, but we grew that organization to serve regionally. When people have cancer, whether it's them or someone that they love or they work with, or their kids, for heaven's sakes, they don't know. They don't know. They're so devastated by the disease that
Sure.
everything else shuts down, and they need a group of people that understand the journey, that can connect them to resources and people that have been on that journey together, and it truly brings comfort. And was pleased to have. I have many friends from that time in there. Stayed there almost 10 years, and another plug that we've changed our. We haven't been there for a bit, but they changed the name from Gilda's Club to Cancer Pathways Midwest because men, for some reason, didn't connect with the name Gilda's
Okay.
Club. And so, as much as they did several years ago. And so, when we opened it up, we had like 1,000% increase for 3 months running for men as soon as we changed the
Wow.
name. It was amazing. Able to serve more people, right?
Sure.
So they're coming up on their 10th year anniversary, which is amazing.
And what a great experience to actually be a part of an organization that's become so embedded now in our community, but you saw it from the
Absolutely.
ground up, literally.
Yeah, it was fun. Grassroots kind of
Yeah.
building up and letting it being a part of the team that helped it grow. People really want to help when you can get around a common cause and people understand, oh my goodness, look how this impacts us. We grew to where we developed a when cancer comes to work program. We developed when cancer comes to school program because when kiddos go to school, how do they deal with that? It impacts their studies
Sure.
and impacts their relationships.
Absolutely.
Same thing at work. You're thinking, oh my goodness, I got to take my wife to chemo or I got to pick her up. It is going to make a difference. So, helping employers understand, helping teachers understand, here's some of the ways we can work together to help them find comfort and kind of put cancer on a shelf for a little bit, through the day as much as you can do that. So, loved being able to work with people on that regard. And then uh, my brother in law was vice chair of an international nonprofit based in Africa. The board is in Cincinnati, Ohio. And he said, "Hey, Mel, we've got some need. We need some help." And of course, knowing I've been in nonprofit forever, I jumped in and I've been working with Village Life Outreach for a little over a year now. and bringing clean water, access to clean water and healthcare resources to three very remote villages in Tanzania, in Berere, Roche, and Niambogo. And excited to probably in February, we'll have a grand opening for the Iman Hair Reproductive and Child Health Center, which brings delivery resources, cervical cancer screenings, family planning to about 25,000 villagers in this area. And when I say remote, I mean there's no road that
Sure.
gets back to these
Yeah.
people. And so we plan. Village Life has medical brigades, so we have students and faculty and physicians and dentists to go over on trips. We call them brigades to go over in this remote area and bring resources to them, and then teach them how for the sustainability, how to step up into that role. Um, Teach them how to fish instead of bring them in a
Sure.
fish. Sometimes we have to bring it at first, right? And
Right.
then we start empowering people and we say, oh, let us teach you. That's in life, in whatever job, whatever vocation, if we can empower people to work together and they have great ideas, and how then that the solution that we thought of, excuse me, becomes even better because you've got the collective whole. You've got those diverse thoughts that said, hey, can we try this? What's this look like? And then EVSC brings around to say, oh my goodness, does this bring me full circle back to say that I can work in my community, helping empower teachers and students that then will take care of us, right, in
Sure.
our tomorrows, because we're enabling these kiddos to find their self, their self-esteem, their worth by encouraging them, bringing them programs and activities and resources, connecting them to. We've got a great community.
Melanie, as you're talking about all these background experiences now coming full circle to EVSC, I mean, really the spirit of this work and this work you're getting ready to dive in for us, it is about bringing people together to support, at the end of the day, our kids and families, right?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Aligning people with very clear communication and goals. I'm all about transparency and sharing. And as much as I love to talk, I love to listen because that's how we really learn
Mhm.
to how to step forward in the best way. And that's what this is going to be about is just really saying, hey, here's our common goal. It's all about the students, empowering them, helping the teachers empower those students that are our kids that are
Right.
going to take over my grandkids. My oldest grandchild is 4. She'll be 5 in the spring. She's going to enter the system,
Sure.
right? And
Yeah.
so I have a personal
Yeah.
effort to be able to say, you know what, I want to be a part of this to make this the best that it can be for her and my other grandkids coming through, as well as everyone else.
Well, for your grandkids, for their classmates, like you said,
Absolutely.
they're our future leaders, the folks I like that you said they're going to be taking care of us,
They are.
which is true one of these days. And also we didn't say this, but you're no stranger to the EVSC because your own children went through that, and I know you were very active back in the day in schools
Absolutely.
as well. So
I loved, I just love being a part of whatever my kids' stuff is doing. I was a soccer coach for 10 years. I was
PTA
PTA
involvement,
president, West Terrace, Prairie Heights, and just being a part of our community and helping kids. I mean, that's how we work
right?
the best together is working with the teachers, working with the principals, working with our kids, finding ways that we really empower them, all kids, all backgrounds, whatever that is. I'm a big believer in that we don't funnel people down just one big funnel.
Sure.
We listen, we find ways that for whatever their interest and background, we find a way to elevate that. Not everybody wants to be a
No,
lawyer or a doctor. We need
sure.
welders and
Absolutely.
engineers and
No, we
plumbers.
say all the time, our goal in this system is to get every student to the point that they're going to be successful and ready to have an amazing life after school,
Absolutely. And
whatever
stay
that
here.
looks like. If you're ready to go to the university and become a physician one day, we're going to do what we can do to make that
Right.
happen. If you're going to enter the workforce, if you're going to go to the military, if you're going to learn a trade, if you're going to be developed by our partnerships with other industries, that's what we're here to do because at the end of the day, when our kids are successful, then we're successful.
Absolutely. Just building bridges, really,
Sure.
right?
Sure.
All through the community.
So when you think about your work ahead as you transition now and join EVSC, the work with development, your work with the EVSC Foundation, which has been around now for many, many years,
Yes.
what are some of your hopes, your goals as you move forward?
We've got great programs going already right now. And so we're going to dive into those and make sure that we start sharing some of those out through the schools to actually help them understand, here's what happens. Let's say it's at Harrison or Wrights or wherever it is. This is how the school corporation and the foundation are helping you specifically, instead of just globally as a programs. All that's good.
Sure.
We're just going to do a little bit more in that area. We're going to evaluate. We're going to listen to people. Right now, this first is kind of the first 30 days is a big dive in to learn and say, okay, what has gone really well? Where there's some opportunities?
Sure.
What can we do to?
Well, you have to know current state.
You
You
do.
have to know where we're at right now, and
You do.
before you can move forward.
You do. We're going to be blessed, though. Amy Walker, who used to be
Yeah,
president.
tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, super excited about that. Amy and I have been friends and colleagues for years. We had a small nonprofit group. We called ourselves Mission Possible, and it was a group of ladies that we started about 12 years ago that we meet once a month just to share knowledge, insight, kind of challenge each other. And Amy was part of that group. So was our amazing new mayor-elect, Stephanie Terry.
Yes.
And so anyway, Gina Gibson, Angie Cheek. I mean, we had Candace Perry. We had great people in that to be able to say, hey, shows what happens when you bring a group of women together, challenge each other. Iron sharpens iron.
Guess you better get out of the way. Things are going to happen.
I'm telling you, people saw us at Donut Bank and they're like, whoa.
Right. Good for you
They
all.
had good reason, and so because we were always tackling something. But Amy was director of public education.
I think for 25 years.
A long time. She knew that and knows our community,
right.
And thought she was going to retire just a little bit, and so did for a little bit, and then we're able to bring her back as consultant and to work for the foundation. So she and I are going to be working tightly together to be able to say, hey, learning so we don't reinvent a wheel.
Sure.
So that we can learn and say, hey, bring your insight, bring your knowledge. Now let's say, here we are at this point in time, how do we step forward? So it truly is collaboration in action.
Yeah. And when you talk about collaboration, the word that comes to my mind, Melanie, is relationships. I'm assuming that when you think back and reflect on your career and as you look forward, relationships really are key when you're doing this type of work.
Oh my goodness. They're everything. If you make it transactional and you're all about just give me money, I need this, and you don't invest in learning how that particular person, what their interests are, how they can help, if you don't take the time to explain that, it's transactional. And people will give you some money and they'll think, go away because I've given you some money, I've supported you.
Right. And we're done.
And we're done.
Yes.
And
Check
it's not sustainable.
Right.
And so I have found through the years that it is best to say, hey, here's where we're going and here's how I see you fitting. Let's have a conversation. Do you see yourself fitting at this time? Maybe you don't know enough yet. Help me give you the information you need so that you can make that decision to invest. Because it's really an amazing man called Bill Bussing. And we one time.
Another great partner to EVSC and friend. Great
so
friend of the
he's
school
very
corporation.
Quiet. He just helps the community in so many ways.
Right.
He said, Melanie, it's a value exchange. And to be able to say, what are we doing that can bring you value as a donor, as an investor, and what you will do then to bring us value for this cause that we move forward with. And it sounds simple, but when you take the time to really care and help people understand this is how you fit in this big picture.
Well, you can't help them to find their passions if you don't have that relationship and get to know one another.
Correct.
Right?
And you got to be enthusiastic. You got to believe this, whatever this cause is that you're doing. That comes natural if you believe it, right? And so then people are like, what is this? Why are she or he so excited about this? And it gives you the opportunity to tell the story. And we are super blessed because times how many thousand students that we've had, those are how many stories, and then how many teachers, that's more stories that we've got. You're going to have your podcast full of people coming through here to be able to say, oh my goodness, this is exciting.
Well, when you think about 22,000 students, over 22,000 students currently, and then their parents and their family members and their siblings and our recent graduates and our parents and grandparents who went through our schools, and people that work for businesses that are still connected to us. I mean, it's just
wouldn't
like
fit in one spot.
Yeah, it's this web, but that's the positive. That's the benefit.
It is absolutely. It is absolutely. So it's just, I'm excited to listen and hear and accelerate some of the things we're already doing. We've got a few ideas. We'll launch those when they're framed up just a little bit. So stay tuned.
I won't ask you to share them yet.
Not yet.
Okay.
Because we want them framed up. just a
Right.
little bit more, but we've
Right.
got big ideas and we want to make sure that we've talked to community and that they're aligned with that. And I love other people to present
Hmm.
so that they can help own some of that, some of those ideas and engagement. I really look at us and our role is to help them take that step to the next. We're going to help build the bridge. They're
Right.
going to be a part of that.
Right.
But when our community truly engages in creating the ideas, endorsing the programs, expanding the programs, we're just a part of the network
How
and
can you
we're
not
just
win?
how can you not win? We're just
Right.
connecting the resources. And it really needs to be about the greater whole, right?
Sure.
It's not about any one person or team or whatever. It's about the community and getting them engaged to the right resources and building upon it.
Right.
And when we do that, it wins.
Last question I'm going to ask you, Melanie. It's so interesting when you think about your experiences with nonprofits. I always think if I'm an individual listening to this, one of the most complicated aspects of this is there are so many great organizations out there. I mean, so many that are doing so much for so many people. So, as you and members of your team are going to be going out, as you're moving into this position and talking to people, and you're talking about the foundation, for example, EVSC Foundation, and people are like, why EVSC Foundation? Why not 10 other things that I can
Hmm.
list? How do you
Hmm.
answer that question? And I think for you, with your experience, I'm sure you have a great answer, but how do you respond to that?
It's one of those personal things for me and our community. Way back when, we're a bit siloed in our community with some nonprofits.
Hmm.
All of them are doing really great work. I think we have opportunity to align more of them. Part of that is understanding what they do. EVSC Foundation really kind of can be a unifier of that. It's not either or; it's both. It's find your passion and let you know that a big part of our kids' lives are in school. And how do we help them so that when you can also help Evansville Christian Life Center, Youth First. I mean, you and please
Sure.
do,
Yes. Yes.
right? But also include the foundation, EVSC Foundation in that, because we are going to help foster your child. We're going to help build programs that empower teachers and help them feel good about their roles as they teach our kids and our grandkids of what's coming up. So it's both. It's not an either or. I don't believe, and it's others. So find your passion. And I will tell you, there's times that I'm like, okay, for right now, when I was representing, I'll just say Gilda's Club, that I said, donor, your interest is in Coleman. Go to Coleman.
Sure.
Go there now. That's right now where you are in this phase of your journey and
Yeah. Because we're
investing.
all on a journey.
We're all there. They're an amazing organization. When they do well, they help other organizations. So he was dumbstruck. He's like, "What?" And he also supported us,
Yeah.
right? Because
You're looking at the bigger picture.
you've got to. You've got to get out of the silo. You've got to get out and elevate up to be able to say, "Hey, long term sustainability. We want our community to be in this little neck of the woods down here between Indiana, Kentucky, and Illinois. We want to rock. We want people to pattern after us. We want to say, oh my goodness, look at that foundation. Look how they work with all the foundations in their community, and all of them are prospering because when you work together, it works that way, and then it's fun." Right? Then it's not competitive and such that you're
Right.
like, oh, if they don't get this, then um and there's always exceptions,
Sure.
but really that's what I'm excited about. That's where if I had a niche, I would say to be able to say working with people and listening to them and finding ways that we truly can work together as nonprofits in our community. I'll go back to Mission Possible, our group of amazing women, um, all leading nonprofits, all helping each other
All
and
getting things done.
all getting things done. And at the end of the day, I call it true north. So over time, the people get tired of hearing it, but it's the true north. What are we going after? When we have alignment on where we're headed, everything else starts falling in place. And it really does. Then we start putting plans and programs and people and resources, and then we start building the puzzle pieces, right? The pieces that fill out the big picture. And what I hope we all agree on is that we want to have our kiddos have the absolute best educational experience that they can, that with the right extracurricular activities, have the teachers and be in a safe, secure place where they feel they can allow their creativity to grow and let them step into what they're designed to be. If we can do that, we will empower parents and grandparents. We will empower uh, for profits, nonprofits, and all in our community. And then get ready. In 5 to 10 years from now, we are going to be known as that's a place. I don't know what all they're doing, and we can say we're just working together.
Yeah.
But truly, that's where it comes
And
down
we're
to.
winning because everybody wins
Everybody,
when this happens that you're
absolutely,
describing.
absolutely, raise the tide.
Well, that's a great way to end it. That's inspiring. We appreciate you sharing this information with us. Welcome back. I don't want to say welcome to the EVSC. Welcome back, since you have so many
Absolutely,
experiences
love
as
it.
a volunteer and parent and future grandparent. So, I mean, this is just, it's wonderful. We can't wait to see where this goes, and we're going to have you back on another podcast
Awesome.
here in another month or two, and then you can share some of these things, and we'll just chat again and keep this on everybody's top of their mind, because that's what we want.
Love it. Every 30 days, we want to be able to have an announcement to be able to say, hey, here's what we're doing and growing, and here's the people we're doing it with.
That is a
So
deal.
it
Melanie
is. Thank
Atwood,
you.
thank you so much for coming in today.
Thank you. Glad to be here.